Hello and welcome to this episode of Calin Adventures. Today we're going to be tying a hopper pattern called the Hoptimus Prime. It's a fly fish food pattern that I've just recently tried and it works very well, floats super well, and it's very fun to tie. So let's tie it. So I'm going to start with a Firehole 609 number 8 nymph hook on this one actually, because this is a pretty much all foam bodied fly, and you want a little bit heavier of a hook to get that to keel properly, to sit hook point down. So we'll get that in the vise, and I'm going to start with some uni thread, some black 6/0 136 denier. Just going to start that for excess, and I'm going to wrap back to about there. And then I have some pieces of, you can use fettuccine foam, that's what you're actually supposed to use, but don't have a fly shop nearby, and so I just took some 2mm foam, cut it to some little strips. We're going to use that. So I have 2 pieces of tan, and then I have 1 piece of yellow and 1 piece of light pink. So I'm going to line those all up. 2 tan pieces on the bottom. A little bit tough to get lined up. There we go. So I got the 2 tan on the bottom, yellow and pink on the top. Just gonna come in with my scissors, trim those even. We're gonna bring our thread a little bit forward to the tie-in point. And we're just gonna get those started to tie in. Wrap pretty tightly over those. But I'm not quite all the way back to where my thread is, so I'm going to just take some looser wraps to work it back. You want looser wraps because if you really wrench down on the thread wraps right here, you want them tight here and getting slightly looser back here, because if you have super tight thread wraps right where the tension is, there's going to be a ton of tension right here when you're twisting up the body on this one, and that'll snap. So we're going to go with that. We're just going to wrap down some of these butts right here. Get them tied in. Just going to bring our thread right back, and we're going to take these, we're going to bring them over here, we're going to pull them pretty tight, and we're going to start to twist them. You can come in with your other hand and kind of get them to where they're all smooth. Get them pretty even. Okay, there we go. They're all wrapped up. So we're going to kind of grab in the middle, and as we fold this back, we're going to twist it a little bit. And how to twist up just like that. And there is your twisted foam body. We're going to keep these pinched onto the fly. Kind of move those over. I'm going to keep tan on the bottom, these yellow and pink on the top. Just come in, catch those with your thread. I'm actually going to come in my other hand. Get that body situated right, like that. come in. The brown on the bottom. There we go. Now we're going to fold these back, bring our thread right up to the eye, and we're going to fold down the brown first, keep that on the bottom, tie that in, kind of pull it tight as you catch it down, just like that, and then same thing with yellow and pink. They should kind of look like antennas if you've done it right. Catch those down. And then we're going to wrap back over this foam. Kind of make a decently even body. Okay, and we're going to come here and I'm going to grab some more of the same foam, just some 2 mil brown. You can also use 1 mil, but I just have 2 mil right here, and we're going to kind of measure the width of the body, just slightly wider than the width of the body. Maybe you can go with a little bit more than a hook gap, and we're just going to cut kind of a wing case almost to go over that. Get that lined up. Trim that, and then we're going to cut just kind of a basic little tapered point there, and measure it about how long we want it, just slightly over the abdomen of the fly. Tie that down. Then we're going to grab this, fold it back, and grab some super glue. And we're just going to dab a little bit on the top. Make it stay down, and we're going to fold this over, and you can kind of put a bend in it by pinching it. The bend and the super glue and the foam will hold that. Let's give that a second. Come in with some accelerator. There we go. Now we have our kind of wing case almost over the tail, and it's got a decent little curve in it. And I'm going to come in, trim off this excess foam, just tie that down. Try to keep everything as tight as possible. Now we're going to tie in the wing of this hopper. So I'm just going to use some poly yarn here, and also use Fulling Mill Ultra Dry yarn. I'm just going to get some wing fibers, tie those in right there. So I'm going to bring my thread forward. Tie that in. Yeah, bring this one back. go. We're going to fold this one back over. Now bring it to the front. Just keeps that body even. Tie that down. Get our thread back here. And then we're just going to trim it a little bit. Here, just get it out of the way. That's not the final trim, that's just a little bit just to get it out of the way. And get this hater out of here. And then we're going to dub the head. Now we want this dubbed pretty tight. So I just have some superfine dubbing, just some brown superfine dubbing. I'm actually just going to tie this in. Get this around the thread. Very simple. Bring this back to the head. It's going to take quite a bit of dubbing and a pretty thick head. Okay, now I have the head dubbed the way I want it. And we're just going to take our yellow and our pink foam. We're going to fold that back over the head, slightly splayed out to the sides. Just going to tie that down. There we go. And then we're just going to take our brown or tan, whatever you're using, slide that over to the side. Just make sure everything's good. There we go. There we have a nice big grasshopper head. We're just going to take our scissors and we're just going to get these yellow and pink ones out of here. But we're going to keep the two tan ones on there because those are going to be our legs. So we're going to try to fold this. I'm just going to use my thread just to hold those fibers back so you can see what I'm doing. I'm going to take a little bit of super glue. I'm just going to tack these legs down to the side. Have them going up and out to the side slightly. There we go. This on this side. There we go. Now we have our legs on there. We're going to do a little bit more to it and kind of make these Project Hopper style legs. So I'm just going to take these, trim them about there. That'll do. Even up a touch. So I'm going to grab some rubber legs. Here I've got kind of a neon yellow. And I'm going to grab my bodkin. And I'm gonna get my bodkin, poke a tiny hole in the leg there. Do it on both sides. And I'm going to grab this yellow rubber leg. I'm just going to trim 2 pieces off. That'll do. So I just got a length of rubber leg. And I'm actually, there's a couple ways you can do this, but I'm going to grab bobbin threader, push that through there, grab a rubber leg, a little bit handsy here, get that through there. I'm just going to pull rubber leg through there. Be kind of careful with this step. There we go. Then I'm going to grab some super glue. Clear out the nozzle. Okay. Grab some super glue. Just gonna a little bit on that leg. Just let that set. Actually, I'm just gonna trim it real quick. And there we go. And I'm gonna do the same thing to the other side. Okay. Now that we have our legs on, I'm just gonna pull both of those down. And kind of pull them back. Just trim those right there. And now our legs are finished. So we're going to let that poly yarn go back down. And now we're going to do the legs on the sides. So I'm actually going to go with more of this neon yellow rubber leg. So I'm going to do kind of a two-tone leg. I'm actually going to do a indicator leg or whatever you want to call it. So I'm going to do yellow on top. Cut that a little short. Oops. And you see how when I put tension on the thread, those kind of try to fold up. That's okay for now. Now I'm just going to grab an barred olive rubber leg. Just going to slide that right up underneath it. A bit tricky to do trying to show the camera. Right there ought to be good. I can just come here. There we go. It should be all right. And grab another rubber leg here. Just gonna trim it off. Just gonna do the exact same thing. Slide it right up under the yellow. There's your legs. We're going to trim those in a second. Now we're going to put a little bit of an indicator on. So I've just got some orange poly yarn. Lay that right on top of the white. Just going to kind of fold it over. Use a bodkin. Actually give it one more wrap. one more wrap. I'm just going to grab my bodkin, form a little bit of a loop there. And tie that down so it will not go anywhere. Is that where you want it? Okay. Now I'm just going to give that a trim. Right there. That's good for now. Now, I'm going to brush that out a little bit. I'm just going to take my bodkin, just kind of pick out those fibers of the wing. Make sure they're all free and trapped down. And there we go. I'm going to grab some more dubbing now. Just make a real fine dubbing noodle. I'm going to use this to cover my thread wraps, and I'm going to use it to get those legs splayed out the way I want them. So I'm just going to take that, run it between the legs. A little bit more dubbing. Okay, now the whip finish on this is kind of tricky. You can just use super glue to tack it down, but I'm kind of gonna do a dual tack down. I'm gonna do a whip finish and super glue. So I'm going to get a very thin dubbing needle, just dirty my thread right there. I don't know if you can see that. I'm going to grab my whip finisher, lay that right down there. I messed that up a little bit. I gotta redo that. I messed that up a little. Alright, I have the whip finisher, tiny little dubbing noodle on there. I am just going to go in there, between the legs, up around everything. I'm just going to get that slid right down in there. I'm just going to trim my thread off. And turn it upside down. Just going to take a little bit of super glue. Just a little bit. Just kind of soak it in there, everything. And that should hold up. Turn it right side up and do all the trimming. Alright, let's get all our legs free. So I'm just gonna trim these all as evenly as I can. That leg really didn't want to play. There we go. I'm just gonna grab all these legs, except for the behind legs that we made. I'm just gonna push them forward. Make sure they're all even. I'm just gonna trim all about like that. And we should have pretty even legs now, and the back legs will be slightly longer than the front legs, but it's pretty natural. Now I'm going to trim the wing. So I'm just going to pull it up, go about just behind the end of the wing case, right there. Trim that, round off the front just a touch. Just like that. There we have it. The Hoptimus Prime hopper. Pretty much all foam body, floats really well. A little bit complicated to tie, but it's very fun to tie. So, anyway, if you want to buy this exact fly, it'll be available at calinscustomtackle.com. This is a size 8 barbless, so you look for that. Anyway, thanks for watching. Click subscribe.